Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradari Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivakatar Sotar Shishimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantikoti Vaishnava Vindi Ki Jai Namachar Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Premazagaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nishananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shamakunda Radhakunda Gita Govardhana Ki Jai Vrindavan Dhama Ki Jai Navadvip Dhama Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Gaur Premanandi all glorious assembled devotees all glorious assembled devotees all glorious assembled devotees all glory to Shishi, Guru and Gauranga. Okay, so we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 23, text 23. So we'll be chanting that verse together and also be going over verse number 24 also. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Nimajasmin Radhe Biru Vimanam idam aruha idam shukla kritam tirtam asisam yapakam rinam. Someone could chant. Mataji's. Word for words. Mimaja, after bathing. Asmin, in this. Rade, in the lake. Viru, O fearful one. Vimanam, airplane. Idam, this. Aruha, ascend. Idam, this. Shrukla Kritam, created by Lord Vishnu. Tirtam, sacred lake. Asisam, the desires. Yapakam, bestowing. Ridam, of human beings. Translation. My dear Devahuti, you look very much afraid. First bathe in the lake Bindu Sarovara, created by Lord Vishnu himself, which can grant all the desires of a human being, and thus mount this airplane. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is still the system to go to places of pilgrimage and take a bath in the water there. In Vrindavan, the people take baths in the river Yamuna. In other places, such as Prayag, they take baths in the river Ganges. The words Tirtam, Asisam, Yapakam refer to the fulfillment of desires by bathing in a place of pilgrimage. Kardamba Muni advised his good wife to bathe in Lake Bindu Sarovara so that she could revive the former beauty and luster of her body. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharne Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Praschatya Deshatarne. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here it is mentioned in the purport about holy places on the pilgrimage. So Srila Prabhupada mentions in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam the benefits of performing ritualistic ceremonies and also chanting the holy name in sacred places. So there's various sacred places, those where Vaishnavas gather, sacred rivers such as the Yamuna and the Ganges, and also in the temple of Vishnu. So in this way, it's very advantageous to perform sacrifice and chanting in such a place. So Srila Prabhupada goes on to mention that simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord in a temple of Vishnu, such as we have here, then the potency of one's chanting is increased by 1,000 times. So this is very important that we take advantage of this situation. And this is why Srila Prabhupada, he started this International Society of Krishna Consciousness to make available Krishna all around the world by establishing centers for the Krishna conscious movement. This way people, such as in the big cities, could come to the temple and get the association devotees and get the benefit of seeing Krishna, the installed deity of the Lord, and simply by performing devotional service there, they could advance greatly in spiritual life. So this is the recommendation, or what it says about the different holy places. But some people, they don't take advantage of that. They simply go to a place of pilgrimage to take a bath. This is mentioned in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that those who consider the body made of the three elements, bile, mucus, and air, to be themselves, who accept the byproducts of this body to be their relatives, and consider the land of their birth to be worshipable, and who go to a place of pilgrimage simply to take a bath there, and they do not get the association of saintly persons, they are considered to be like an ass or a cow. So this is very much condemned. So also in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, we also have established so many centers and holy places to give the association of pure devotees in such places. Because also sometimes these places of pilgrimage, so many times they're populated by like Mayavadis, and by their association, one may think they're very saintly persons, but if one associates with a Mayavadi, then their spiritual life is doomed. So this is very unfortunate, but by association with devotees, of course, one's spiritual life is enhanced. So now I'm going to go over verse 24. I'll just read it myself. Satat Prartu Samadaya Vachakulaya Yakshena Sharajam Bibrati Vaso Vaini Bhutamscha Murdajam. Translation: the lotus-eyed Devahuti accepted the order of her husband. Because of her dirty dress and the locks of matted hair on her head, she did not look very attractive. Purport: it appears that Devahuti's hair had remained uncombed for many years and had become complicated in tangles. In other words, she neglected her bodily dress and comforts to engage in the service of her husband. So Devahuti, she engaged in the service of her husband, and she is known as a woman who is chaste. So there's four principles of a woman who is known as chaste. She renders service to her husband. She is favorably disposed towards the husband, and equally disposed towards the friends and relatives of the husband, and she follows the vows of the husband. So of course we know what those vows, in Krishna consciousness, we know what those vows are. There's chanting Hare Krishna 16 rounds, no intoxication, no meeting, no gambling, and no illicit sex life. So she should serve such a husband with affection, render service to him with affection, but he should not be fallen. In other words, if a woman has a husband who is fallen, then she should give up such a husband. Not that she should serve a rascal husband who is fallen like that. But if he's a devotee of the Lord, then by serving him, it is stated also in the 7th canto, by serving him following the footsteps of the goddess of fortune, then she goes back to home, back to Godhead with her devotee husband. So this is a recommendation, service. We're all servants of Krishna. So whether one serves Krishna directly or a devotee of Krishna, one gets the same benefit. So here it's mentioned how Devahuti's hair was all tangled, but she did not comb her hair. So this is also the case in women. Prabhupada states that a woman whose husband is not at home, she does not comb her hair. She does not dress nicely, and she does not comb her hair. And it's also stated that this combing of the hair is one of the main businesses of women. So in the vanaprastha stage of life, a woman does not comb her hair, and it becomes entangled in knots like that, and therefore she doesn't appear very attracted to her husband, and also she doesn't become disturbed by sexual impulses. So in this way, both of them could become elevated to the Paramsahamsa platform. And Srila Prabhupada also mentions this about the disciple. If he sincerely follows, or if he sincerely serves the spiritual master, then he never need fear to fall into the clutches of Maya. So in this material world, people are attracted to beautiful things. They're attracted to women. It is stated that the form of a woman, her features, her hair, the materialists are very much attracted to her. And Lord Brahma, he has created women in such a way that they are disturbed by Cupid and lust desires. In this way, they become stunned and just like a stone, and they desire to simply remain in this material world. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said that devotees should be very careful about beautiful women and about materialistic civilization. So we have to be very careful in this regard, understanding our conditioned nature. Srila Prabhupada, he wrote a letter to Himavati. It was back in 1972. Srila Prabhupada said, I don't know who is giving you this idea of shaving your head and wearing white. He said, you should look present yourself very beautiful before Krishna, so he'll be pleased. You shouldn't look ugly before Krishna. Krishna does not like ugly gopis like that. And he said that Krishna has 16,000 wives. He has and each wife has thousands of maidservants and manservants, and they should look very beautiful for the pleasure of Krishna and his queens. So in this way, we have to look nicely also. We have to consider the situation, not that we simply like when we go on preaching Krishna consciousness, we have to present ourselves very nicely so that we could give people Krishna consciousness. So this analogy of women taking care of their hair, they comb their hair very nicely and they keep it up very nicely. So even though they're performing their, this is in connection with remembering Krishna. So a devotee does not forget Krishna, even though he may be engaged in so many other things. He always remembers Krishna. Just like a woman She keeps her hair combed and keeps it up nicely, although she's engaged in so many household activities. So this dressing, everybody has a desire to dress very nicely. So this desire to dress very nicely could be satisfied if we dress Krishna, if we dress the deity. So simply by dressing the deity, then we also become satisfied. So this service of dressing the deity, this is for everyone. Everybody's a servant of Krishna. It's not that only women have to serve, but also the men have to serve. Because Krishna is stated that, in the Krishna book, 29th chapter, it is stated that Krishna is the husband of everyone, for he is the supreme enjoyer. So this should be our understanding. Of course, in the material world, everybody thinks that they're actually the supreme enjoyer. Because the reason, one of the reasons of this being is because actually, since Krishna is the supreme enjoyer and the creator, and because we're part and parcel of him, we also have these propensities because they're also within Krishna. But when these things are misused, then we find ourselves in a very horrible position. So simply by desiring to dress the deity, then all these desires to dress very nicely will vanquish, they'll go away. And the materialists, also Prabhupada states that the materialists, they want to dress themselves very gorgeously. But gradually Maya will take away their clothing, and thus voluntarily they become hippies. So this is their situation. So in this way we have to dress the deities very nicely. Prabhupada said we should offer them first class dress, first class food, everything first class. Actually he said, we should offer them better than first class. So Prabhupada said you could dress the deity twice a day, at least once a day, twice a day. He said you could dress them 4 times a day, or as much as you can, like that. So by dressing the deity, by decorating the deity, we also decorate our heart with Krishna consciousness. So dressing the deity is there, but dressing the deity is just as important as keeping the temple neat and clean. Not that we simply dress the deity and the temple is kept dirty. No, both things have to go on, and by keeping the temple neat and clean, we keep our heart neat and clean. And it's only because, or it's because of our dirty heart, then we cannot understand Krishna, because our heart is filled up with so much garbage. So this dressing the deity is there, and all these things have to go on. Srila Prabhupada mentions that dressing the deity is just as important, or he actually said that addressing the deity and preaching in the college is just as important as book distribution. So all these things have to go on. We have to dress the deity, we have to preach in the colleges, but also we have to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. So this is there, and we have to do so many things, just like Prabhupada gave the example again, that a woman, she takes care of herself very nicely, and although she's performing so many household affairs, so similarly we had to perform everything that Srila Prabhupada wants us to: address the deities, preach, distribute his books. Not that we sacrifice one thing for another. No, all things have to go on. So we have to become Krishna conscious. We have to surrender to Krishna. And by surrendering to Krishna sincerely, then Krishna will accept us and we will become free from all material contamination and go beyond the three modes of material nature. So it doesn't matter what position we find ourselves in. Like many of us have been born in the families of Mlechas and Yavanas, but simply by surrendering into Krishna, we become pure. And there's no bodily disqualifications. Just like the example is given of the Ganges water. When filthy drain water is amalgamated within the Ganges water, there's no qualitative distinction between the two. So simply by surrendering unto Krishna, we can become pure as anyone else in this world. So there's so many different living entities. There's Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras, 5th class men, 10th class men. But regardless of who they are, if they simply surrender to Krishna, then they're all considered, or they're all equal in their stature as devotees of the Lord. So this is the goal of life, to engage in pure devotional service. So one may ask, how long does it take to become Krishna conscious? How long does this take? And Srila Prabhupada replies that it could take just a few minutes, a few moments, or one cannot become Krishna conscious even after millions of births. It only depends upon one's understanding and accepting of this fact. So this is, we have to endeavor in this way. And in this way, we will go back to home, back to Godhead. So this going back to home, back to Godhead is not simply, okay, I'm in this life and I go back to Godhead and therefore I'm transcendently situated. Because if one engages in pure devotional service, there's no distinction between that and also going back to home, back to Godhead, because they're both on the absolute platform. So you don't have to wait to go back to home, back to Godhead. Within this lifetime, you could be on the by being on the transcendental platform of loving devotional service, you could have already attained the kingdom of God. So our position is we engage in service to Krishna. People in this material world, they engage in various activities, bhoga and tyaga, sense enjoyment or opulence, and renunciation. So this bhoga tyaga is like a pendulum of a clock going back and forth, back and forth. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, to abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me, I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction, do not fear. So we do not care about this bhoga dharma or tyaga dharma. We care about seva dharma, or service to Krishna, Krishna seva. This is what we care about. These other things, they have no meaning. Bhoga and tyaga doesn't have any meaning. Just like great kings such as Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, they engaged, they were very opulent, but they were great souls, they were great Mahajanas. And other devotees, they renounced everything, just like Rupa Goswami. He was in a very opulent position. and he gave up everything and simply wore a loincloth, and he wouldn't even have a place to live. He would live under a different tree every night. So he gave up everything. So it doesn't matter, you know, if you're very opulent or if you give up everything. That's not the consideration. The consideration is if Krishna is pleased. If Krishna wants, then I will accept everything, and if Krishna doesn't want, I will give up everything. Just like Arjuna, Krishna wanted Arjuna to fight on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And Arjuna said, yes, I will fight. But Krishna could also have told Arjuna, Arjuna, what is this fighting? Just go to the forest. Come with me, go to the forest. And Arjuna would have also agreed to that. So Bhoga Tyaga doesn't matter. It has no meaning. So, life means desire. Either we have desire for Krishna or we have desire for Maya. Otherwise, there's no meaning. We're nothing but a dead stone. And then this manifestation, one of the manifestations of this desire is anxiety. So, if we want to become Krishna conscious, we have to get this anxiety for Krishna. So it is stated that if one, how do you purchase this anxiety for Krishna? You purchase anxiety for Krishna by anxiety. This is how you purchase it. This is how you develop it. But this anxiety is not such an anxiety for Krishna is not such an easy thing to obtain. Even after millions of pious activities, one does not attain it. It's very difficult. But by engaging in the process of devotional service under the instruction of the spiritual master, one could become anxious for Krishna. Therefore, this deity worship has been introduced. Prabhupada says by this, one becomes anxious for Krishna. So we have to wake up at a certain time. We have to wake up the deities. We have to give them food. It's not like, well, you know, I mean, I'll just take my time cooking this offering. If it's late, it's late. No, we can't do that. We have to make sure it's on time for Krishna. So in this way, there's some anxiety. But if one has to have this anxiety for Krishna. But if one has anxiety for other things, this is simply Maya. So one devotee was mentioning to Srila Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, if I have 4 hours to dress the deity, then I could do it like that. I could dress the deity in 4 hours. But if I have only an hour and a half to dress the deity, I'm full of anxiety. I have to rush. And Prabhupada's reply was, your anxiety for dressing the deities within 4 hours, and thus the deity doors will not open. This is not anxiety. This is simply nescience. This is simply nescience. So we have to have this anxiety. Anxiety to dress the deity, anxiety to worship the deity, anxiety about selling books. Prabhupada said this is anxiety for Krishna, how to sell books. Not this trade anxiety, but selling books for Krishna. This is real anxiety. So Mother Yasoda, she accepted anxiety for Krishna. This is a mother's anxiety, always fearful. Is my child all right? Mother Yasoda was thinking, is Krishna in danger? Is he, will he be hurt by fire or the monkeys? So in this way, she was always in anxiety. This is required. not being anxiety-less. This is simply artificial. One can become anxiety-less, just like the Brahmavadis. They merged into the Brahman effulgence, but one cannot be up there forever, only for some time. Then eventually one falls, because this is artificial position when it has to have anxiety. But that anxiety has to be purified, and it has to be anxiety for Krishna. So the materialists, or even so-called some religionists, they don't understand this anxiety. They accept God as the Father. So if one accepts God as the Father, then one thinks, my Father will take care of me, I have no anxiety. So, but a devotee, he wants to become the father or the mother of Krishna. In this way, he's always in anxiety to provide for Krishna, to see that Krishna is always taken care of, always safe. In this way, he accepts anxiety for Krishna. So anxiety has to be there. Without anxiety, one is simply a dead. This is simply not life, this is death. So artificially, people create these different anxieties. I'm thinking that I am the father of this family, therefore I have to maintain them. I'm thinking I'm the leader of this country, I have to maintain this country. In this way, artificially, one is creating so many anxieties, so many designations. So this is not a good situation, but if one purifies that anxiety and simply has anxiety for Krishna, then he becomes successful and attains the highest platform of spiritual life of loving devotional service. So we could stop there. Are there any questions on these points? Satya Noy?
Thank you, Prabhu. I have a little comment and then the question. First of all, when you were mentioning about that Krishna one should offer the best for Krishna. And I was just reflecting that how you yourself are a perfect example of that. Like in the morning breakfast, you displayed a big menu of different varieties of fruits, vegetables, and many things. You put a lot of endeavor, and you do it on time, in spite of all the work that you do. Thank you very much. I've seen devotees who usually don't even come for breakfast, but that day, big line. So many, and I know it's a lot of work, a lot of endeavor, but you are actually, when you're speaking, you're actually doing it. So thank you. Now the question might not be very philosophical, but just maybe I want your thoughts and your understanding of this. We were talking about dressing the deities, doing a lot of service for Krishna, mostly pujari service like that. So my thought was, what is it that, for example, like in temples in Vrindavan, women, I know in particular one or two who are just hankering to come to LA to actually do some service for the deities because they are not allowed to do it there. And I understand that once a month the women have some problems, difficulties, but if there's someone who really wants, and they have to wait until they come to LA to actually do some service to the deities. Do you know anything? Is that because of cultural background, the system of women maybe, or is not they're not allowed, or it's just some practical reasons there? Do you know any reason why the women, Matajis, who are initiated, who have been Brahmanas for many years, cannot do it there? Do you know anything?
Well, anyway, that has to be worked out with the temple management, how that's going to go on. But it's not something that it's not that somebody's missing out. In other words, like Prabhupada mentioned, that the one who cleans the temple is just as important as the pujari. So that's just important. Anyway, it also seems that sometimes we overemphasize. Well, anyway, both things should be go on, but it seems like that the temples should be they're too much neglected as far as cleanliness goes. So that is something that really needs a lot of help on. So if somebody could do that, then Krishna will be very much pleased with their service, you know. We could see that the temple is, if one sees that, that the deities are being dressed very nicely, but the temple needs cleaning, so one should take that up, and Krishna will be satisfied with one's service. So that's what's required. What satisfies Krishna, like that. So it doesn't matter if you're dressed in a deity. You know, so there's so many different services. The thing is, we want to develop anxiety for Krishna. So just like here, Prabhupada says, dressed in a deity with his anxiety, distributing books, there's anxiety. So there's so many services that are required. So there's no, a devotee can't be stopped. Devotional service cannot be stopped. So it doesn't matter about the situation you're in, you know, what you're allowed to do or not to do. Your devotional service cannot be hampered by anything. So that's the point. Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Is that Sampriya? Do you say something?
Thank you, Prabhu. A very nice class. I just wanted to say that, you know, Srila Prabhupada really set the level very high, because we're supposed to offer best to Krishna, and we live in Kali Yuga. And so Kali Yuga, I don't know actually how many people are fully aware, because mostly in cities people don't know so many things that they, you know, because their supplies come from very indirect sources, but you know, that mostly food is grown with very poisonous chemicals, and if you go organic, then it's fertilized using either blood and bone or fish, ground up fishes. So when Prabhupada said that, you know, he wanted farm communities and for us to produce our own food, he was really aiming at a high standard of what we offer to Krishna and how we show our love. And I just think that maybe not everyone knows that, because I was telling Sachi the other day and he was shocked. And but this is common. This is a very common practice all over the world in this time, because they don't know about how to utilize mother cow and the bull, because all that culture's lost. So that the cow, they just extract the milk, but they don't understand that the dung is what keeps the earth healthy, which keeps the food healthy, which keeps the people healthy. And so they've neglected that whole cycle, because we just want easy life with machines and cars and everything. And therefore the whole earth is becoming depleted and turning into desert, and the food is becoming very bad, so people are becoming very sick, either with diseases caused by chemicals or by food that's karmically impure. And I just wanted to mention that, because I know that you're a little bit more in that direction of Varnashram, and you know, Prabhupada had a very high standard that he wanted us to reach, and I just wanted to mention it. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so you know, just like I mentioned an example, if, you know, like all things, you know, we have to, all things have to go on, you know, not neglect one instruction for another instruction. Basically, that's the point. So we have to follow all the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, and in this way we'll be properly situated. So Bhakti Subhushan has to go on, Varnashram College has to go on, taking care of the cows has to go on, and by doing this, we please Krishna and we please Srila Prabhupada. In this way, will be properly situated like that. Okay. Anybody else have
I just wanted to mention one thing, and that is Gopal Krishna Maharaj is a very serious health condition in India, and very serious. So they're asking all the devotees to please say a prayer on his behalf, especially the Lord Nrsingadev, for his protection. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.